All right, you guys, here we are. I am coming in a bit later than I planned. You never have those days where it just seems to get away from you and then you encounter things you weren't expecting? Well, that's been today. But that's okay because I am here. It's only 5:15 my time. I know for my East Coast friends it's a little bit later, but it doesn't matter because I'm still coming in because I committed to 31 days to a simpler menopause. And today's topic is so important because almost every single woman I talk to or that's in my Facebook group or that reaches out and asks for questions, there's so much about like what is going on with this bloating and inflammation. Now, further down the road here in the 31 days, we're going to be talking about actual belly fat because that is something different. What we're talking about bloating, right, where it is not a constant, it is something that fluctuates. It might be after meals. It might get progressively worse throughout the day. So I just wanted to make sure that we talked about that because it's just an important one. When you say bloating and belly fat, those are two different things. But over the past few days, we've talked about listening to your body. We've talked about tracking your mood, tracking your hunger, tracking your energy, how food sits with you, how it affects you. We also tackled talking about your brain and why it keeps pulling you back into old habits, even if they're not the best for you. Now, again, today's one of the biggest complaints I hear, which is this bloating and inflammation. So if you ever feel like your belly puffs out by the end of the day, if you feel like your rings feel tight or you wake up feeling swollen and sluggish, this session is for you. Because bloating and inflammation isn't just annoying. It is your body, again, trying to tell you something. And if you don't pay attention, you will keep dealing with discomfort, digestion issues, and stubborn weight that just won't budge. So when this happens in menopause, it's not random. These are triggered by something your body is struggling with. And if you haven't realized, what we're doing here over these 31 days is I'm helping you to see your different options for what's causing things, right? Because that is how we truly end our symptoms, as we get to the root cause of what is creating them. So some of the most common things that will cause bloating is a slower digestion, right? So as our estrogen levels drop, digestion can slow down, leading to bloating and sluggish elimination. And then there is also increased food sensitivities. I think I talked about this on day 2, I think. Foods you used to eat all the time without any issues. Foods like dairy and gluten and processed foods and sugars and high saturated fat food or high sodium foods may now cause bloating or inflammation. Let me tell you, high sodium foods like frozen pizza, anything frozen, my body, as I have gone through from peri into postmenopause, my body is very sensitive to high sodium foods. Excess soy sauce, I always mix my soy with coconut aminos because it has a lot less sodium to it. But so it's really good. And I don't give up these things completely, but I know what they cause. So then there's also blood sugar swings. Big spikes and crashes in blood sugar can trigger inflammation, puffiness, bloating, right? Then there is stress. And what does stress create? More of the hormone cortisol. So higher cortisol levels can cause water retention, belly bloating, as well as belly fat gain, and around the middle, right? And we'll be talking about that on a later day. And then there are changes to your gut microbiome, ladies, that happen with the changes in our hormones. The whole transition of menopause shifts your gut bacteria, which can lead, again, to these food insensitivities and just to more bloating, constipation, gas. How you eat can cause bloating and inflammation. If you eat too fast, right, that can do that to your body. So if you are still eating the way you did prior to entering into perimenopause or wherever you're at prior to any part of menopause, and you're feeling bloated all the time, some of these could be the reasons why. I'd love to hear which ones maybe you think could be yours. But you have to really embrace the idea that your body is different, which means you got to do different things. It needs a different approach. Okay, so what can you do today to start feeling relief? Well, number one, you got to start your day with hydration. and do it all day long. But drinking at least 16 ounces of water first thing in the morning to flush out any excess water retention. And then you've got to be looking at your fiber intake. Too little or too much at once can cause bloating. Aim for 25 to 30 grams a day, adding fiber slowly if you are increasing it, if you haven't been having much. You've got to notice how you feel after eating. You've got to track if certain foods leave you feeling bloated or Betty. Feeling bloated 30 to 60 minutes later, right? Foods like dairy and gluten and processed foods are all common triggers. You have to look at balancing your blood sugar, right? So these are all the things I talked about when I talked about the culprits. You're probably going to hear my dogs now, you guys, sorry. So again, dairy, gluten, processed foods, high sodium food.
I'll come back in a couple minutes.
Yeah, just give me a couple minutes.
I'll let the door close.
Okay. Sorry, they're coming in to replace my dishwasher, and I thought I had enough time. But anyway, so dairy, gluten, processed foods, all of those, right? Start noticing, like we talked about on day 2, how do you feel 30 to 60 minutes after you eat some of those more common irritants or intolerant type foods? And again, you don't have to give them up, but you want to know what they do so you get to decide how much you eat, right? So balancing your blood sugar is key at this time. Insulin resistance is something that happens for so many women in menopause. Making sure that your plates are balanced, which we're going to get into more later in the next few days. So we want to make sure we have lots of fiber on our plate. Every meal, not just one meal. Lean protein, every meal, not just one meal. Healthy fats, not just one meal. All meals. We're going to be aiming for balanced meals. And this is what's going to help prevent spikes and crashes throughout the day. Now, anytime you eat something with processed sugar, with added sugars, you are setting yourself up for potential spikes and crashes, which can cause inflammation and bloating. Okay. Now, here's another one, and you all want to blow me off when I talk about this, but stress, chronic, unmanaged stress raises cortisol and increases inflammation in your body. Now, when I say managing, I'm not talking about quitting your job. I'm not talking about, hey, you guys, kicking your husband out of the house so you don't have to hear him chew or anything like that. Anything that might trigger you to stress you out. But you have to start working on stress reduction as a preventative. We're going to be talking about this coming up too. But even 5 minutes of deep breathing every day, ladies, can help to reset your nervous system. If you do that multiple times a day, you can start to raise your stress levels throughout the day. Okay, support your gut health. Adding fermented foods, right? Cheryl, this is for you, right? These are the foods that contain probiotics, sauerkraut, kimchi, yogurts, miso, kombucha, all of those, right? We want live active cultures, right? Those are far more beneficial for our body than probiotics in a supplement form. Yes, those can be helpful, but you will always absorb more. Yeah, my dogs are all wound up. It's playtime. You'll always absorb more from food. So 1 to 2 tablespoons of those a day. We'll be talking about that in more detail too, but start doing it. You want to rebalance your gut bacteria. And if you are eating lots of fiber, then you're eating lots of prebiotics. And then on the other end of that are postbiotics, which is what your body makes. Okay, then we got to get your body moving. Gentle movement like walking or yoga helps digestion and helps with water retention. So most important, and you're going to hear me say this every single time throughout these 31 days, is you have to pay attention to what your body is telling you. If a certain food always leaves you bloated, it may be time to reduce it or even eliminate it. Okay, so your challenge for today is I want you to start noticing when you feel inflamed or when you're starting to feel bloated. What did you eat before it? Rufus, stop, buddy. How much water have you had? How is your stress throughout the day? Did you eat really fast, right? Slowing down. Sorry, I forgot that one in between your meals. So drop a comment. Let me know. Which one do you think you are struggling more with? Is it bloating or is it inflammation? And what is it Oh, from the list that I gave you of some of the common things that might cause it, what do you think might be yours? I would love to hear. Because the more detail you give me, the more I can help you. So, that's what I got for you guys today. Is this day 4? Yes, day 4, bloating and inflammation. So I'll be back with you guys tomorrow for day 5. If at any point throughout the course of these 31 days, you have questions, my messenger box always open. You are more than welcome to ask me questions about it, ask more details, tell me what's going on for you, and I'll help you. You can always book a consult with me and we'll take a deep dive into it. You can tell me all the stuff and I'll tell you all the stuff you need to do. And how to do it. So, and last but not least, if you are resonating with what we're talking about here and you're not in my Facebook group, please come join Menopause Wellness Made Simple. There should be a link to it on my cover photo. Come join because we do lots of stuff like this every day. All right. See you.